Morning, sir, and thank you so much for this opportunity to speak. The last year, 2024, from 1st April till 10th May 2025, and then 13th to 20th June 2023 June 2025, has absolutely changed the way drone warfare is being fought. And we have to keep in mind that every stage of the escalation ladder, as we speak, drones matter. Every single stage they matter. It's that era is forgotten where you can work without drones. So quickly I'll highlight some few points. A lot of you in your childhood would have seen this famous Tom and Jerry. And why am I highlighting this? It's happening live. Colonel talked about that single dispersed drone being deployed. So the Ukrainian launches a drone, carries out a successful mission, and he's hidden himself from everywhere else. And he's taking the drone inside back into his cabin. And what happens next? You can't hide yourself. That's what you have to understand. That era of big drones is gone. Small drones, survivability, this Tom and Jerry game, a technology cat and mouse between US and counter US is going to continue. And as we speak, today there will be some new technology. By the time in the afternoon we go back to our homes, which would be there. So this discussion cycle has to be very, very progressive, very, very fast, and that compartmentalize of we can't share has to stop. Everyone needs to know. A simple example, Operation SINDOOR, whatever drones we got down, the drone forensics of that should have been exchanged with all the counter-US Indian vendors, so that a counter-US solution for exactly those Jihad-3 drones and others should have been in the market by now. That's the speed at which we need to function. So that imagination of a battlefield solution happening on the battle space, going down to the technology team of those various companies, the team Bharat which is sitting. And I must tell you, due to seats, there are very less people present here. Every day 15 calls, sir, allow us to come and attend. That's the passion for indigenization. So we have to expand this view, we have to expand this whole picture to everyone outside too, and not restrict it here. And this complete cycle from ideation to improvisation and getting a second product is not to take years and years. It has to take months, and that is what needs to get executed. The general already has highlighted that dependence on Chinese component, and please understand, it's not one component, it's a complete architecture. For a simple example, you are talking about 5G drones being launched today, and sometimes satellite communication, the naval officer already brought it out. Now in India, who's going to give you the satellite communication? It's either Starlink, or with good relations with China, it's the Tianfan constellation. So where is that indigenization gone? It's a complete architecture which you have to indigenize, not just those drone components. Even if we don't act, just 1% increase, from 2% to 3%, whereas our not so friendly neighbor, not a neighbor actually, Tibet is our neighbor. So they have jumped from way to way. We have to act. More importantly, counter-US is not applicable to the military alone. This broad array of counter-US is applicable to each and every person. You don't know why, sitting today, someone might just decide to target Manekshaw. What's the system? What's the counter-US solution in place? So a complete solution, including mobile network usage monitoring and detection, AI enablement, the cyber over RF, or the latest in the buzzword, multi-tiered aerial interceptors. Since Ukrainians are falling short of AD, they're going for multi-tiered interceptors. Interceptors for FPVs are separate, interceptors for Shahid loitering munition are separate, interceptors for others are separate. Are we doing it? The Yeehaw has to be held somewhere else. The Songer has to be held somewhere else. The DJI Mavic has to be handled in a different manner. So it's a multi-tiered aerial interceptor is what you require. Then, while you fight the drone warfare, it is also the information warfare. That indigenization circuit where software is part of the arsenal. I'll give a simple example. The Al-Udeid base strike by the Iranians, what was it more important for? It was most important for the Americans. What they had done, learned 3 years plus of the software development of the BND and placed it in those Patriots which they deployed there. They were the most advanced ones, fighting, being battle tested against the hypersonic missiles. Now see in the Indian scenario, all the drones what we launched, all the loitering munitions what we launched, BrahMos what we launched, the Chinese, Turks and the Pakis together were looking for the solutions. And the next battle, their software will be developed for that. Have we developed our software for that solution? We have to look towards that. It is a complementarity. Where you fall short, you have to overcome somewhere. In space, we are way, way behind. 2024, 0 launch of defense and Chinese 43 launch. But where do you overcome that? Because ISR is only 2 things today, drones or space. Where do you overcome that? So that's the point. Whole set of lessons, detection will mean destruction. I'll not emphasize it further. That's the actual fact on ground. Every day, moment you're detected, you're bound to die. What's the accessibility? Now these are 2 different countries. One is Iran, where Israelis establish a factory inside, and the other is Russia, where in their manual which they took out in December 24, they said that such Ukrainian FPVs will strike us. A manual being taken out in December 24 telling the whole world that this is the way a raid by a small FPV will take place on an airport. 5 months later, 4,000 kilometers away, that strike takes place, and still you are not defended. Is it a wake-up call for us? Does the Air Force need to look at the large SAM threats only, or large aircraft threats only? What about such threats? There is nothing, and Mr. Kakkar says it beautifully, ceiling air. No radar or no drone is small to be ignored. Payloads and ammunition, thankfully the ADG, ADB talked about it adequately. The versatility of the ammunition, any explosive which is available to that section commander will be picked up and thrown in the war. Drones are democratization of precision strike. It is a section commander's topkhana. Whatever munition he gets up his sleeve, whatever that tank troop commander, the front troop gets it, he will just use it and throw it. So there, that versatility of own explosives has to be ensured. Finally, quality. We all talk about quality, but quantity matters. See the surge capacity. All the drone producers here, outside, put your hands on a heart and say, in one day, how many drones can you produce? If together, IDS can validate the Indian capacity in one day to produce 700 drones, decide one day and say, today, complete India will produce 700 drones, then we are ready for battle. See the, I'm just showing you 9th July, 700 Shahid drones only. Shahid, Jarbara and all the drones combined, fired by Russians. And that's the capacity. Validate your surge capacities. A use of decoys and disused equipment. No equipment, no ammunition can be disused. It will find a way of being thrown on the enemy. And that's what you have to do. Penetration of A2AD bubbles. We are well aware the Chinese talk about the A2AD bubble. Israelis claim that out of in those 12 days in June 2025, 1,100 UAVs launched by Iran and only 1 could break through. Iranians struck 8 of those Heron and Hermes equivalent despite their AD being completely taken off. I will leave it at that. What is our interception rate and where do we want to reach? 300 to 500 launched, having 50 wreckages, 20 odd spoofed, we leave it at that. So we have to understand. The US, the seed and all has to be dynamic. There is nothing which can be, centric. You're fixed to a frequency. Band agnostic, platform agnostic is the need of the day. See this example. And when I said there is no one which is secure, a train transporting tanks hit by a series of FPVs. And that's post that spiderweb strike which everyone heard. So the ICICI Bank data center or the RBI data center is equally a target. If Amritsar Golden Temple could be a target, anything can be a target. I'm not trying to put a scary scenario. I'm just saying, let's prepare. Civilian casualties, just another highlight of that. Now, what you see below, all small drones. We can't restrict ourselves to drones. These are rotors launching those loitering munitions, going through sea and launching them. The accessibility to the 5G networks, the special forces are being reduced in size but being given technical equipment to launch strikes. So that is what we need to do. Operation Sindoor, the Pakistanis, yes, they couldn't strike anything significant. Let's accept it, that was our, but it was an incremental tiered launch. Whether a technique of exhaustion, whether a technique of saturation, whether a technique of qualitative technology, they attempted all together. And let's grant it to them that they did it in those 3 days. Yes, on 10th May, our Air Force ensured they were short of any options. But had it continued, what would have been the scenario? So we need to prepare. Our detection has to be multi-tiered. And someone here talked about the airship, in fact 2-3 of them. Airship today is static, it can be as a backup, it will go off. But imagine if you put your interceptor drones on it. So you have to vet out each and every solution and come out to a method. And I'm just placing what Mr. Pavan had said, countering the drone threats is no more a sidekick. And hence, counter-US training cannot be an afterthought, it has to be implemented. Assured survivability is not only through such means, it is also passive means, passive survivability which has to be ensured. If there is a missile which has to be launched, it has to go inside a tunnel. So all that also needs to be prepared. Decoys, while a lot of these drones which may not withstand, I mean they may not be resilient enough to withstand a cyber takeover and so many others, just launch them. Why? You are saturating the enemy capabilities. Use them as decoys, what you are not able to use them as normal. Yes, there was a complete failure of Pak R&D. They had to completely rely on China, but even Chinese components used on Turkish, the ER-3 drones are example of it. Inadequate training, doctrinal transfers. But what is important is our northern neighbor, where the kill chain, the Pakistanis training could not adequately adapt that kill chain. We have to prepare to break the kill chain of our northern adversary. And each and every step of that kill chain, detection, acquisition, targeting, engagement, assessment, each and every layer of that kill chain needs to be engaged by the brightest of the IT people on the world are in India. And we can't say that we can't break their informatization and intelligentization. We surely can. That's where it has to happen. But on the local Jugaad front, we have to deny that easy accessibility to the Pakistani intelligence operators network who can easily assemble a drone, buying those Chinese components of drones from Amazon. So that surge we have to manage. Now, Russia-Ukraine war, if you follow every day there is a drone advancement. Whether the OFC drone or the aerial interceptors, every day you will see things changing. So, there is a concept called technological depth. The more you lay off, the more you're going to be behind technology. And the other country is going to leave a technological depth on you. It is how you scale, how you rapidly prototype, and be aware of the omnipresent threat of sabotages, ambushes, and raids which are happening everywhere. Data. Data is the current oil. Whether it was Russia-Ukraine war or Iran-Israel, the complete data has gone to the Chinese. And imagine that data is going to be used to improve their softwares. UAV escorts for protection. You are launching a swarm, due to the aerial interceptors you require. So are we evolving ourselves doctrinally? What Starlink played a role, Kianfian will play a role for Pakistan next war. So understand that. Jamming, whether it is the payload itself or the communication, if it is a OFC, where do you jam? What do you jam? So understand that part. Israelis, Houthis are showing us enough examples. Hypersonic missiles were supersonic, rocket, RT, air, missile, drones, defense architecture. So in architecture which integrates, counter-UAS is one part. How do you integrate air defense, ballistic missile defense, RT defense, all together, rockets defense? Why? Because Chinese are preparing for each one of them. See this. What have they done? The 3rd Long-Range Artillery Brigade, raised in Western Theatre Command, is being combined with the loitering munitions, the Freelong 60A launch, and they can be launched from the same vehicle. So a rocket missile which is with a range of 500 kilometers being launched with a loitering munition. So one launcher launches the loitering munitions which saturates you, and the other one then comes for the destruction. So that's the battle which you have to prepare for, and let's not move slow on it. Quantum is absolutely there. So I will just try to reiterate, it's not about one component or one technology, it's a complete architecture. Understand the complete backup. Let's stop being motivators, be executors. And as Sir highlighted, drones resilience, every drone you produce, it's not just about producing it. How resilient are they to be able to operate in that environment? Please test it, not on your own EW. Test them on the enemy EW concept. And there are enough battlefields where you can test. Go and test them on West Asian battlegrounds where Libya, Syria, where battles are being fought. Test them there and then get them back here. Motivators I already talked about. It has to be a team Bharat. No paramilitary force, no one can be left behind. NSCS in a separate architecture, NSA somewhere. It has to be all together. It has to be create an idea. Start ideating here and get the patents. Don't look for just copying it. And the surge has to be collusive. Doctrinally, each and every force needs to evolve together. The tactics and technology cannot be separated. As your vendor, the contractors, the industry gets you a technology, doctrinally it has to be incorporated that day itself. It can't be separated. Please understand that. And there has to be a technological and tactical mentorship. Skip 1 or 2 generations. There are quantum people sitting here. Don't look at AI itself, look at quantum AI. That's the way you need to go ahead. And yes, as Sir said, it can't be L1. It has to be L1, Q1 and IC1. And IC1 does not have to look only at Chinese components. The Americans equally spy on you. So let's not forget that part. Indigenous means indigenous. I'll leave with an example. There is a Bravo 1 defense cluster, started with an ADB kind of an idea and has gone now steps ahead. What yesterday they've done is they are getting the European technology people to come and try and execute things during actual live operations. So that's the kind of thing which I have to do. And as Sir said, incentives. What is an incentive which people sitting here, Mr. Sai, Mr. Pawan Kakar, Captain Sood, what will they look for? What's that incentive you can give to that civilian? What have the Americans started? An honorary rank. Look at what keeps them happy. Get it as a team together. Get local affiliations done. If it is particular core in mountains, a particular industry with them. They work together and come up with a solution. Have an industry and a command competition, a core competition on technology. You will see the results, it will come out. Our patents, our talent has to get converted into manufacturing capacity and nothing else. Components modularity. Come out with a list which decides, and EVs moving on road, if you're going to have BYDs and MGs moving on your road, you will not indigenize. So what happens on your road will happen in your battlefield. It has to be systematically done together. 3D printing machines have to move forward. So identify the companies which produce the other parts, what the military can do it on its own, and somewhere where you find only 2 or 3, let the ministry, let the government take the charge. The central factory will be by us. This big components we will produce. The smaller ones you add, then it becomes a team Bharat. I finished. Sorry for taking additional time.